to the mainstream media, now called traditional media, is that never ever replicate what you see on social media without establishing the foundations of it. Because the people in social media have not had the training not and so when you receive any material on social media and you put it out, you are helping them to misinform us. And so it becomes very, very important as a first step that any information that you receive from social media, you cross check and establish the foundation of it before you decide to broadcast it on your medium. Now, apart from the legal implication, because the position of the law is that there's no law that binds you from repeating anything on social media. So if you do, then you take responsibility for it. You know that thing that crawl on the TV say that these are the views of panelists and not this. It's a useless element. I mean, because if on your station somebody comes and says defamatory things about me, I will sue you. Because that individual, maybe he doesn't even have anything. But at least I know that the station, if they have nothing at all, they have one vehicle that I can sell and get money. And so you must take responsibility for everything that you have. And whenever that your attention is drawn to a mistake that you have made. I think that it is better to admit the mistake and effect the necessary correction rather than say that you said it, you said it. You understand? Because it is about human beings and your primary responsibility is that you are informing people. So if at any time you realize that the information that you put out is not correct, you have a duty to correct it yourself without waiting for somebody to bring you a rejoinder so that the people are listening to you. They will know that as for you, when you make a mistake, you admit it. And so when they trust you, then they trust you. Otherwise, if you continue like that and they remember that as for you, the every time you come out, then they will lose confidence in you. So we must make sure that we establish the foundation of any information that the second step is that we need to, on our own, do independent research on information. Recently, I was talking to some journalists and I was telling them about this idea that the president is compiling the justices at the Supreme Court to favor him. I'm saying that one of the things that I said that the journalists should do is to go and find out who appointed those people in the first place as high court judges. Because that's a big thing. Because if you serve on the high court and you do well, you should be promoted. And it doesn't matter who's the government. Because if we are not careful, then we are going to say that hard work should not be recognized because of a certain political person. And so if I am the president now, and you have done so well as a court of appeal judge, and you deserve to be promoted to the Supreme Court, because I am appointing you, you should not be appointed. That is a disservice. Yeah, but it becomes necessary for the average journalist to find out when were these people appointed to the High Court, when were they elevated to the Court of Appeal, and when and what are the things that you require to be appointed to the Supreme Court. When we find these things out ourselves, because the people who are good, they are not agreeing that the people are not qualified. So if the people are qualified, what is the problem? And has it always been that whenever matter have come before the court, the judges have followed that on the day of who appointed them or on the facts before them? In the first presidential election, I mean, in the president before this, I mean, among the judges that sat on that case, how many of them were appointed by which government, and where did the vote go? You understand? But we have a duty. I mean, the politicians will say that they are packing the place, which we cannot ignore their sentiment. Yeah, but we need to go beyond whatever they are saying and find out. And I gave the example that Justice Sophia Akufo, He was appointed by Reverend Jerry John Wallace. I mean, within a few days to the handing over to the constitutional role in 1993, right, to the Supreme Court. Now, after all those years of her being at the Supreme Court, becoming the senior most judge at the time, it is now the turn of Nana Akufo-Addo to appoint the Chief Justice. What should he do? Right? Should he ignore her because he was appointed by whoever? And once she has been had the senior most, and even at that time you want gender sensitivity and all that. And so if he appoints her as the Chief Justice, what is the politics about it? So should we just limit it to the political sentiment, or we need to find out a little more? What is the competence of this person? Why is this person being elevated to the highest court of the land? Is it merited? Right? Yeah, we can talk about the numbers. We all have our feelings about the numbers. Yeah, but what is the upper limit? To say that something is unlawful. To say that something is unlawful means that you know what the law says. What is the highest number of Supreme Court judges as of now? Nobody knows because it's not defined. You all that the court says that they should not be less than 10. As to whether they should be 100 or not, it depends on reasonability and not on the law. And so when you are arguing about it and you bring in the law that is unlawful, the journalist must interrogate that. If you say that it's unreasonable, from sentimental point of view, it is understandable. But to say that it is unlawful, then we need to know what law, what is the law. And I'm saying that that is our duty. The politicians, they will always talk politics. But we as media people should go beyond politics and analyze things and provide the necessary background information that will make independent people feel and express themselves. I mean, definitely some of us will not want it to be too big. Right? Yeah, but in doing comparison also, what are we comparing? Because when you say the United States Supreme Court has only this number, you know that in the US every state has a Supreme Court, and so some matters are determined at the Supreme Court of the state, so they don't count. What are the number of cases that go to the Supreme Court? In our case, every case, even election petition, parliamentary election petition, that the law says must end at the Court of Appeal. In the case of Rebecca Adote, they took it to the Supreme Court. You understand? So when the Supreme Court is saddled with so all manner of cases, what is the reasonable number? We all have to agree and determine it. Until we determine it, we will be sentimental about our expression. And nobody can stop anybody from expressing their views. It is only when they bring in the law and say that this is unlawful that we, the journalists, must not just follow them, must look at it and say which law. And if they are able to quote us the specific law which says that they should never should not, then we join that. But otherwise, when they say it is unlawful, we too we say they say that it is unlawful. You know, we're exposing ourselves to the public, and that is where one is to do independent evaluation of things. And we should also be careful about reporting. You go to a rally, you see a number of people. You say it is huge. What is huge? No, what is huge? You know, so I mean, we say about 100,000. It is subjective. But to say that it is huge, or to say that I have not ever seen any crowd of this nature. What are you talking about? You understand? Those are the areas that we want you to define and try and make some useful statistical estimates and say, oh, you think that this size is about 50,000, is about 100,000, is about so nobody will fight with you. Or we say that this is the biggest number you have ever seen. You know, because if you are holding a ceremony for 10 people and 9 of them come, and then somebody else is doing something for 100 people and 60 of them come, between the two, which is huge? 9 over 10 is huge.